before the episode actually begins, and this will not be in the video. Maybe it should be. Well, I'll see what I can do. I would just like to clarify and say that this episode was recorded on July 26th, meaning that I am not actually recording a new episode for my season finale of season 1. Yes, if you forgot, this is the last episode of season 1. At the end of the video, I'll wrap up my thoughts and tell you when we're coming back, but enjoy me talking about the NWSL for now. Thanks. Hello everyone, my name is Gianna Castro and welcome back to another episode of the Women's Sports Matter podcast. I'm your host, Gianna Belcastro, and today we are going to be talking about the NWSL for maybe one last time as the WNBA season is starting to kick off. Hopefully you realize that I made an episode about the W for Monday, and this is Thursday's episode. But guess what? I'm waiting until all the games are over today on Sunday, or Saturday? What is today's date? It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Oh my god. I'm going to be rounding up Sunday's action in Monday's episode, so if you're seeing this before that episode, you should also check that out too. But just to say, this is the last time you'll be seeing this as my background because I'm in my house, and next time I'll be in a new location and I'll be moving. So, time to say goodbye. Just wanted to say that this house doesn't really have any connection to me, so it's just, it's whatever. Also, while I'm here, I'd just like to say that my jacket that I got for Frisbee is really cool. Even though I've only played for 1 year, I am very thankful to meet some amazing people. And I'm glad that I still had the opportunity to kind of play in the organization. So if you're trying to look for a new sport to get into, I highly recommend Ultimate Frisbee, because there's just something about it that is really, really amazing, and I cannot wait to continue playing. And I also want to play when I go to an actual college after going through 2 years of community college, but that's not what today's episode is about, is it? Let me set up. I looked like really short. Okay, today we're talking about NWSL expansion teams and stuff that's going to happen in the future with the league. So without further ado, let's get this episode started. Okay, so if you are knowledgeable about the NWSL and you've been following stuff that's happening in the league recently, there are 2 expansion teams. Yay! Woo! We have Racing Louisville FC, and we have an NWSL team coming to LA in 2022. Racing Lou FC will be in 2021, so next season, and then NWSL in LA 2022. I already said that. Just wanted to say it again because I like to repeat myself here on this podcast. I'm a true professional. I'm the most professional person that you probably listen to, so that's really saying something. Anyway, I don't know why I go off on those tangents. It adds some character to the podcast. When the NWSL announced, along with We Are Angel City FC, which is what they're calling themselves until they have an actual name, crest, and colors. So they were announcing it that day last week. Was it last Friday, maybe? I don't remember, but I follow a soccer writer, and she pointed out a tweet from Mia Hamm, and that was kind of like the first instance where people were recognizing that something big was coming to the NWSL. And when I saw, I'm like, oh my God, there's an expansion team. And then I had to think about it. I was like, oh, probably LA. I'm like, oh, okay. Honestly, there needs to be more teams on that side of the country, or on this side of the country. No, that side of the country. I'm in the middle. My apologies. West Coast. Okay, I am not awake today. I'm not awake today. Yeah. This is going to be the worst episode I've ever recorded. Jeez. Epic fail. Once again, it's been 5 minutes and I'm losing my mind. Stars like Alex Morgan and Kristen Press were tweeting about it like, oh my God, they're so excited, which means one thing and one thing only. One person gets called out for tweeting about it and disrespecting her team, and the other one gets shown a bunch of love for it. Do we know what we're saying? Okay. So when Kristen Press tweeted it out, she was like, oh my God, that's like disrespectful towards your team. Like, you play for Utah. Like, what are you doing? And then when Alex Morgan did, it was like, oh my God, yay, I'm so excited for you. The disrespect to Kristen Press is unacceptable. Once a Red Star, always a Red Star, and you know I'm a Red Stars fan. So when I saw that, I was like, disrespectful. She's from California. She deserves to be happy that a team is coming to her state. And yes, the possibility of her playing there is 100%. She is going to play there. I mean, that is the ideal soccer market, first of all. If we're talking about ideal places to start a team, whether you're talking about women's sports or not, Los Angeles, New York City, Chicago, Boston, Miami. What else is there? Someplace in Texas. I feel like Minneapolis is a good area too. Look at the abundance of women's sports though in those areas. The only women's sports team I can think of in Los Angeles is the LA Sparks. There's no women's team in Miami for basketball, but there's the Orlando Pride for the NWSL. In Houston, there's the Houston Dash. And since we're talking about them, there's also the Dallas Wings for the WNBA. Houston Dash just won, 20 minutes ago, won the NWSL Challenge Cup. I'll talk about them at the end of the episode against the Chicago Red Stars, so you know I'm salty. I think I'm just upset right now because I just watched my team lose to one of their rivals. And I'm not over it yet, and I don't think I ever will be. I'm processing this. Obviously, I'm a little salty. But I do like some of the players on the Dash. And I've started to recognize some of the players on that team, like Shea Groom. Shout out to her. She's an amazing soccer player. I don't know why I didn't know about this before. Know about her before and her talent. Obviously, she's really good, and if you don't know who she is and you're a soccer fan, then we have a problem. She won MVP of the final game, and I think Rachel Daly won the Golden Ball, I think, for the most goals because she assisted Shea Groom's goal in stoppage time, but that was really offsides, or at least I thought it was. A lot of the players were like, yo, she's offside, like raising their hands. But that's not what we're talking about right now. I'm really salty and I'm really tired. It's like 2 o'clock and I got up at 11:30. I'm having quite the day. Okay, but anyway, I'm really excited to see another women's team in California. We already know they have an abundance of teams there. We got the Dodgers, we got the Giants, the A's, the LA Kings, Sacramento Kings. Me testing my sports knowledge right now. San Diego Padres, San Jose Quakes, LAFC, LA Galaxy, Oakland Raiders used to be there, but now they're in Las Vegas, LA Rams, LA Chargers, San Francisco 49ers. I'm really trying to see how many teams I can name off the top of my head. LA Clippers, LA Lakers, Golden State Warriors, Anaheim Ducks, San Jose Sharks, I know I didn't name them all. Oh, LA Angels. That's not it, right? Or is that it? If I named all the teams, can you tell me? And if I forgot some, let me down below. My sister is being really annoying right now and keeps texting me. I'm putting my phone on silent. What a jerk. I'm trying to record a podcast, Bella. Leave me alone. But did I name all the teams? I think I did. I don't know. Someone fact check me, please. I'll probably think of something later and be like, oh, I should have said that in my episode. But there's already a lot of sports teams in California, in Los Angeles. So the fact that they're getting another one is amazing. And I hope that whatever Angel City FC turns into plays at the guys' soccer stadium. I hope they don't have to build another stadium. I just think it's annoying. Like Racing Lou FC will be at Lou City FC where they play, like Lynn Family Stadium or something. I don't remember the name, but hopefully wherever Angel City ends up is either where LAFC plays or LA Galaxy plays. First of all, they have already 2 amazing stadiums, even though I've never been there. Watching the teams play on TV shows enough. And I think most of these co-owners went to the game was at whatever LAFC's stadium is, Bank of California Stadium or something. I don't know. But they all met up there, and that's probably where that started, which is really, really cool. First of all, there's so many stars and former players that are co-owners of this team. We have people from Natalie Portman to Casey Neistat, who is a YouTuber, most known for his vlogs. Lily Singh, which is a late night host on NBC for Late Night with Lily or something. We have Jennifer Gardner, Eva Longoria, Mia Hamm, Abby Wambach, Glennon Doyle. Who else? Me testing my knowledge. Jessica Chastain. So people like that, you know, I'm honestly blown away by the amount of star power that is in this group. That's like, we want to bring a women's soccer team to Los Angeles. They believe in women's soccer. And once they started believing in women's soccer, they actually made it happen. Oh my God, almost forgot. Serena Williams is a co-owner. And her daughter, her 2-year-old daughter, 2 years old, is a co-owner. I think she's the youngest owner of a sports team ever. Maybe of anything ever. And then the husband of Serena, which I don't know how to say his last name, but the guy that founded Reddit or whatever. Yeah, that guy. So many famous people coming together, and we're like, yes, we're gonna do this. I'm proud to be a soccer fan. I'm proud to be a women's sports fan. I am excited for what the future holds with Angel City FC. That's why I'm going to call it from now on until they have an actual name. And I think that's going to wrap up this part of the episode. We're going to go into the ad break now, you know. Gotta earn a few cents. I'm also currently searching for my 2 cents. So if you have found that, please let me know because I lost it and I want it back. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to the ad read now, and the last part of the episode, we're going to talk about the NWSL Challenge Cup, some of the awards they gave out, and my overall thoughts on it. But, yeah, let's get to that ad read. You know how it is. I gotta earn money somehow. So, thank you for listening to this point, and time to get some cash. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. I highly recommend this app. It is the easiest way to make a podcast. And my podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, and many more. If you want to create something for people to listen to, download the free Anchor app today. Wasn't that just spectacular? I know, my ad reads are always entertaining. They're always amazing, and I think I need to re-record that part because I just don't like the way I sound, and I also think I could be funnier. But honestly, you listen to the podcast for one reason and one reason only, and that's to hear my beautiful, beautiful voice anyway. Now let's get to the second part of the episode. So, NWSL Challenge Cup is officially over today. I just watched Houston play the Chicago Red Stars. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm gonna lose my mind. Houston Dash won the NWSL Challenge Cup. Shea Groom won the MVP of the final. MVP of the tournament goes to Rachel Daly. I believe she was the golden boot winner, is when you score the most goals in a tournament. I'm assuming the gloves part, that was already handed out. Kayleen Sheridan won the Golden Gloves, which is best goalkeeper. kind of not necessarily a rookie award, but future star or whatever goes to Ashley Sanchez, fresh out of UCLA, and also on the Washington Spirit. So she was actually really exciting to watch in this tournament too. So much talent in this league, but so much talent leaving as well. A few days ago, news broke that Sam Mewis, I believe, was going on a 1-year loan deal to Manchester City, and Rose Lavelle was thinking about joining her, or was it the other way around? I don't remember. Those two players are going to probably end up at Manchester City together, where they are trying to win the FA League. I'm still a Chelsea fan. I will always be a Chelsea fan, but if Man City does better than they did this year, obviously I'm rooting for 2 U.S. Women's National Team stars. This is the first time that the U.S. Women's National Team will have players going overseas since 2017, I believe, when Carly Lloyd and Crystal Dunn were overseas. I think that's correct. I'm not going to fact check myself because I don't prepare for this. I just say what's on my mind. Nothing is scripted. But actually, to bring up the scripted part, I was talking to my friend on the phone last night, and we were talking about my podcast, and I was like, he asked me, so your stuff is scripted, right? Because it really sounded like it was when I was listening the other day. I was like, no, nothing is scripted. There's nothing in front of me. I'm barely looking at the camera because I'm not even comfortable with that, and that's why I look at myself, and that's why I'm looking down. There's no script. There's nothing on my phone. It's just me talking. So maybe I should script some stuff. That way I don't go into tangents that don't make sense, like I am right now. Okay. Anyway, also the top 11 players of the Cup were announced during halftime, I believe. And of course, Hinkle was on it. Oh, she wasn't even good during this whole tournament. She got 2 freaking awards for 2 games from the Courage, and then she gets this shit. It's not nice. It's homophobic. They were showing film of North Carolina Courage players earlier when, well, not film, but stuff from practices or warm-ups or whatever, and they were wearing the Nike shirts that said "Be True" on it with, like, rainbow on it. And I was like, show us Hinkle. I bet you won't. Or I bet she refused to wear it or something, because it seems like something she would do. Honestly, I wish Hinkle would go and play overseas somewhere so I can hate a team. Maybe not England. Maybe some team in Germany. I don't know. Better yet, she can just play in Poland if they have a women's soccer team, because they say that they're an LGBT-free country. Honestly, some states think like that in the U.S. So, yeah. There were a lot of surprises on the list. Britt Eckerstrom, who played 1 game in goal for the Portland Thorns, was put on there instead of maybe Jane Campbell or Keelan Sheridan. But she did have a really nice game against, I think it was the Courage. It was just a weird choice, but, like, I did vote for her when I voted. I'm not gonna lie, I voted for her. So, you're welcome. I did vote for a lot of Washington Spirit players. I mean, I did vote for Rose Lavelle, who was also on there. And I also had a vote for Andy Sullivan, who exited the tournament because of an ACL tear. So, hey, I'm doing it for Sunshine Sully. That's what's up. Who else did I vote for? I think I voted for Lindsey Horan too, just because she had a really, really amazing tournament. Obviously, she got injured. A lot of injuries are happening. Also, the U.S. Women's National Team limiting their players' minutes, which is a no-no, which is probably why Rose and Sam are heading to Manchester City in the first place. Let's see, what else? Who else was on there? Lynn Williams was on there. Dabina deserved it. I'm glad that she was included. I did not vote for her because I voted for a lot of Red Stars players, Thorns players, and Houston Dash players too. For defense, I put Julie Ertz, Sarah Gordon, Casey Short, and I think Zoe Gorelski, because, Neuqua Valley represent. Also, the fact today's game featured a lot of Illinois high school soccer players. We have stuff from, people from around in my area. So, like Wabanzi, Neuqua Valley, Naperville Central, Naperville North. I don't know if Mattia was included in that. But obviously, Megan Oyster, who was on the Houston Dash, won with her team today. And she is a Neuqua Valley alum, so congrats to her. Also, I got to see Zoe Gorelski play today. She came on as a sub. I had the chance to interview her for a school project a long time ago, so it was nice to cheer for some Neuqua Valley alums and also some DuPage Valley Conference alums as well. Once a Neuqua Valley Wildcat, always a Neuqua Valley Wildcat. So even though you're supposed to be rivals with people in your conference, it's still nice to root for them when they're playing in a professional setting. So there's that for you. What else do I want to talk about? It was obviously a disappointing end for the Red Stars, but that doesn't conclude me rooting for them. I guess it's not our time to see the Red Stars win anything yet, but they just need to be healthy. They played this game without Yuki Nagasato, Tierna Davidson, Casey Short, and Morgan Bryan. Those are their top players. And you're playing the season without Sam Kerr, who was your top goal scorer, and just an overall amazing player. Obviously, I still root for her because go Chelsea. But it's just difficult to watch your rival win. But I'm also happy for Houston because they've never won anything before. And I feel that, it's nice to see a team that hasn't won something before win a tournament or a championship. So congrats to them. Is there anything else I want to talk about within the tournament? The NWSL had 0 coronavirus cases within their NWSL bubble, which means that it worked. They are the only team to have why do I keep saying that? League to not have any coronavirus cases within their bubble. MLS, NBA, WNBA. I have to be childish sometimes or else this is not my podcast. They really did it, and they're still being disrespected. I wish some people would put respect on the NWSL's name. I really think that once LA gets a team, that there's going to be more respect just because that's such a valuable sports market. And that's all I have to say about that. But no COVID cases within the bubble this is the best bubble there's going to be within the sports world. Period. And we shouldn't even have to have a bubble. We should have taken control of COVID. Of course, at the end of my episodes, I always get political. Why can't we be like New Zealand, where they eradicated COVID? Why is it always about the money? Why can't you just do your job and serve the people instead of being a selfish little brat? If you live in the U.S., I hope you're voting for Biden. If you're not, cool. I don't know what you see in that. I don't even know what he is. That annoying orange. I'm at a loss for words because I don't want to say anything a little bit too nasty. But this is it for the episode. I am ending this episode here. It was nice to talk about soccer for one last time before we move into WNBA action. Also, I'd like to say support your local businesses as COVID keeps terrorizing our country, or at least my country. I know I have international listeners. Support your local businesses. Wash your hands, wear a mask, social distance when you can. I'm guilty of not always following this, but sometimes I remember, yeah, you probably should be doing this right now. And so I've tried to correct myself when I can. So, yeah. Like I mentioned before, the cops that killed Breonna Taylor are still free and living their best lives. And that's really sad. It's unexcusable that Louisville cannot figure out charges for these 3 assholes. Again, lost for words because I'm speechless. Go harder for Breonna Taylor. Again, like I've been doing for the past few episodes. Links down below for BLM and for registering to vote. Also, I have added 2 different links as well. And 2 episodes ago, I mentioned these resources, but now there is a BLM card, registering to vote, a card for what's happening in Yemen where you can donate to end the famine there and stuff that's going on there, which is insane. You really should read about that. And there is stuff that's happening in the world right now, card where it's just things that are happening all over the place where you can help out. Signing petitions, donating, stuff like that. I think I'm going to end the episode here. Yeah. Like I said before, wash hands, wear a mask, social distance when you can. My name is Gianna Belcastro. I'm your host of the Women's Sports Matters podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Oh my God. I almost forgot I have to do self-promotion. If you want to listen to me on a podcast app, you can find me on so many different applications. You can listen to me on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Radio Public, Overcast, Google Podcasts, and many more. So, I have links for all of those down below, which is for YouTube and on Anchor, or wherever you find your podcasts. And also, I have a Twitter. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, where I post amazing content. Gotta brag, guys. Follow me at WSM Podcast and use the hashtag WSM Podcast to send me people I should interview, subjects to talk about, /topics, and just whatever's on your mind. Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Which, if you're watching this video right now on YouTube, there's a subscribe button down below. And if you're listening on a podcast application, link down below in my description of the episode is my link to my YouTube channel. Also, if you want to support this podcast, there is 2 ways you can do that. One, you can subscribe to my Patreon, where as soon as I have maybe 10-ish supporters, I will be starting to upload content. I have 0 because, But if you want to be a supporter for me, hey, go ahead. No one's stopping you. And if you want to support me for just 99 cents a month, that's $1, basically. Link down below is my public site for the podcast. That is the lowest amount that you can support me with. And if that's all you can do, hey, I need money. Just kidding. No, funds will be going towards getting a microphone. Because apparently I don't sound too good on my own. Let's see here. What else do I have to say? Oh, if you want to send me a voice message just to say what's up or whatever, you can also do that on my public site, which is linked down below. It's one of the first links. My name is Gian Belcastro. I'm the host of the Women's Sports Matters podcast. If you like what you hear, subscribe, leave a rating on Apple Podcasts or a review to let me know how I'm doing. I look at those sometimes. I'm not going to always take into consideration what you want me to say, but hey, you can always try. My name is Gian Belcastro. I'm your host. I like saying that I'm a host because it makes me feel better about myself. And that is the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening and supporting my small podcast. We are small but mighty. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to wear a mask right now, and to wash your hands and to social distance. That's all, folks. See you next time. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast this season. This has been a great project I've been working on since May, June-ish. And I didn't think it would be able to go as far as it did. Reaching an international audience, reaching people outside of my home state. Doing interviews with people also. It was a very surprising thing for me, as someone that's new to this, and it's just a hobby, and I love it. So I just wanted to say thank you for listening to season 1 of the Women's Sports Matter podcast. I'm your host, Gian Belcastro. You can catch me back sometime in the beginning of November because I'm starting school, and I just want to see what the college life is like first before I jump back in to the waters of this podcast. So if you like the podcast, hey, that's great. There's a way to support it. There's ways you can follow me on social media. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. Maybe in the coming months I'll be posting exclusive content to YouTube. So if you're subscribed there, have at it. Again, I would love to say again that I'm very thankful for having listeners from literally everywhere. It makes me so happy that people continue to listen to the podcast, and it's not just people that I know. If you are an individual who wants to be interviewed for my podcast, link down below is my email for the podcast. If you want to email me, if you know someone that would like to come on here, if you are someone that would like to come on here, I'm trying to plan ahead for people to be on Conversation O'Clocks in the future. So if you want to do that, go ahead. And I think that's about it. Thank you again. I cannot stress enough. Thank you so much for listening to season 1. I'm Gian Belcastro, and I'll see you in season 2.